Welcome back to the Brothers in Christ, the only podcast you'll ever need. Today, we're going to do Matt's testimony. So, Matt, how have you been?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I've kept the same clothes on for the last week, and
Yeah, yeah. Should I start?
yeah, I'm good, thank you. The week's going well. Busy with work, but
Yeah.
love being a dad. Love my job. Ultimately, blessed by God in every single aspect of my life. So
You are?
yeah,
Very well said. So, shall we start at the very beginning, the very best place to start? Right. So, what I think most people want to know with a testimony is, who were you before coming to faith?
okay. Sort of two sides to this, really. So when I was really little, like under the age of 10.
Okay.
I've had a great upbringing, great family, great parents. I wasn't brought up in a Christian household, really. My mum was in and out of faith. Dad was atheist. But I always felt, well, I knew God was with me. I felt a presence, like a childlike presence, since I was very young. And I suppose I did pray and I did talk to God, but I didn't know who this God was.
So were you just talking to, who do you think? Were you thinking like, I'm talking to God right now, or what was going through your mind?
Yeah, like in bed.
Okay.
Like at night time, before bed, I'd talk to God.
Cool.
And I felt the love and the peace.
What age was this?
This is not knowing that this is Jesus.
Up to
I'm
10
talking, between the ages of, from like as young as you can make, I can like 5 years.
Yeah.
Probably from the age of 5 to 10, even to like maybe 12 before it all went a bit pear-shaped.
Okay, so my next question is, what happened?
Yeah.
You go
so
from
you think knowing God, like that's it, my life's
sweet.
set out. And then started secondary school, and don't know, God didn't leave me. I think I left God. I departed into the world of girls,
Sin.
Into
the empire. You went from the kingdom to the empire in about...
doing stupid stuff at school, mucking about with mates, as you do. We all kids, everyone does this. Eventually discovering booze from about 13, 14.
Okay.
I thought, this is brilliant. So then I was interested in parties, getting drunk. I still had, I was still a pretty grounded kid. Like I had my sights set on my career,
Yeah.
No, I always wanted to be a pilot from a very young age.
Yeah, well...
And I was set on that. And I was still knuckling down to some extent at school, but I think my mind wanted to be elsewhere. It wanted to be escapism. That's how I'd sum it up.
Okay. So let's say your teenage years,
Yeah.
drinking, doing the wrong things. Where do you go then through your 20s? I know you was fixed on becoming a pilot. You've done it.
Yeah.
What was that journey like?
Oh, it was great. The pilot bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great, yeah. It had its ups and downs. I started before COVID, did the bulk of my training through COVID, not knowing if I was going to get a job at the end of it. And then there was a bit of a couple of years wait for my first job. I nearly gave up. But then I was blessed with finally landing the dream job, and I'm set for life now.
Yeah. And you feel God had a part to play in that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I know we spoke about that together.
Maybe not. I didn't know that towards the start. I'm in control of all this, not God. And
did you come to faith, like, just so I've got this right in my own head as well, from starting your training to become a pilot, you came to faith in between that start point and
Yeah.
it wasn't it? Before you then actually got the job you're in now, it was in between. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it was more towards his boss was playing for a job actually. I'll get to it in a minute.
We can come to that.
Yeah. So from finishing school, going to college and just being typical young teenager, early 20s, still the same, not growing up. Luckily, I met my now wife from a very young age, and she managed to keep me grounded. And another example of God working in my life, putting me with my wife Paris. At such a young age, because I think maybe he knew that I'd have gone totally off the rails if that had not happened. Paris pulled me in. She was a shining light in my life, but still, early 20s, I was very lost.
Yeah,
I think.
In what ways would you say you were lost?
Enjoyed the party a bit too much. I liked drink a lot. I'm put it out there. I wasn't these people that sit in the park with the brown paper bag kind of thing. But I live for the weekend.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people, and that was the norm. A lot of we all did it. Yeah, we all did it. Couldn't wait.
Why would you say you were doing it though?
To escape.
Yeah.
Escape from reality of. I don't know what I was escaping. I had a great life in good jobs, and I didn't like going to work at the time. I was working, doing manual work and whatnot. I couldn't wait for the pub to come round at the end of the week and just let my hair down and be who I wanted to be, but it wasn't who I really wanted to be. But I thought that at the time. Okay. But I think, like you said on the last episode, I think I've always searched for the truth. I always wanted to know the truth, but I didn't have it. I think if I'd have had it at that point, my life would have been very different, very much easier. It wouldn't have took me this long to figure it out.
It's not like it's easier. It's more like you just have a sense of peace, like that I would say, because it doesn't mean you have to deal with real stuff.
Yeah, you're
just more grounded, aren't you?
I think a lot of stuff looming over my head was like unanswered questions about what happens when you die.
Yeah,
I think that was a fear that I'd never sort of admit to, but it was always in the back of my head. Like, okay, one day this is going to end. Yeah. Then what? Yeah. And then what's the point of doing what I'm doing now? I
think we all.
Yeah.
I think anyone that says I'm not scared to die is lying. Because even obviously we're both Christian. It doesn't mean I want to die. Like, I don't want to die. But I do fully have faith that I'll be with Jesus. But obviously you're more thinking, well, how am I going to die? What's going to, all that sort of stuff. But you know what used to scare me on that thing? I had this belief of like the eternity. And the eternity used to scare me.
Oh, really?
That used to scare me more than the actual death. Like, foreverness.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it used to blow my mind. But now the way I look at it is the way I look at time now is like linear.
Okay.
We don't know the way, outside the reality we're living right now. You just don't know what eternity is. You don't know. So like where I'm at is like I just have the faith I have, and I'm like, I'm okay
don't
with not knowing.
Like
it's like I said on the last, so through certain experiences I've had and like the psychedelics and stuff, I was like, you get to a point and like a friend of mine, we used to always say, you know what, I don't actually want to know. Like I'm okay not knowing. But the death thing, I think if anyone asks that really, it's like, it's scary.
Yeah.
I do agree.
That. Yeah, absolutely. And like, I think I've always asked like the big questions. I've always been a seeker of the big answers,
Yeah.
Where do we come from? Yeah. What is reality? What is this? We're sitting here having this conversation.
It's pretty magical when you take a step back.
And that all comes from nothing and like.
But we never just sit back and we're not in awe of it. It's like, we just know it's all here. We're just here in this body, like living this life, and you're like, how can you not ask the question? Like, who on earth created this?
Yeah.
Did it get created? Who Yeah.
Exactly. what is time and space. I think
Yeah.
I was never happy with the answers the world gave. It just
is what it is.
left me feeling
Empty.
empty. There's something drastically missing. And don't get me wrong, there was the odd times where I'd go back to my childhood and I still knew deep down God was there,
Yeah.
and I would lean to him at times. I would ask for stuff, but that's what it was. I was asking for things like, "Oh, help me with this, help me through it," and then that's it. Then I go back to my old life, back to the usual.
To touch on that,
antics.
it's like me coming to you and saying, "Oh, Matt, can you do this for me?"
Yeah,
"Oh, Matt, you know what? Next week, can you do this for me as well?"
yeah,
And you like texting me, "How are you?" I'm just ignoring you.
yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, can you do this as well? Like, I've got this.
Yeah.
Can you sort it out?" That's not a relationship.
So it's like he's a genie.
Yeah,
That's how I treated
rub
him.
a little lamp. He's like, "It don't work like that." And I think we both learned that.
Yeah.
You know. So, okay, we've got sort of the start of your journey here.
Mm-hmm.
What changed?
I think there was 2020 was a big. This is where it was like,
COVID, you know.
yeah. I didn't come to faith that year, or the.
You're not going to tell me you come to faith in the vaccine.
No, but it left me. Those big questions resurfaced after that period of time. I went through a period of a bit of depression and uncertainty and anger of how the world is playing out, and you know the powers that be that control it. It sent me on a real truth seeking
I think
journey. It took me a few years to get to where it was, but yeah, that was the starting point that got the ball rolling. I think
made you question things.
Christ wasn't involved with it at the time.
Yeah, I think
he was. This was his way of drawing me in, but that was the point where my life started to change direction.
Yeah. A lot of people that we probably both know had the same sort of experience or felt that certain way.
Or they're still been left feeling the same way, and they're still on that journey.
Yeah. Okay, so sort of that happened. Then you were seeking the truth. Like, how would you say you were doing that? Like, where were you looking?
Oh, going down all the conspiracies, all the rabbit holes, looking into,
yeah.
I won't get into conspiracies now. It could be here all day, you know what I mean? But just what I realised during that truth seeking period was how the world is run.
Okay, yeah.
Sort of how evil it is.
Yeah.
And it left me with a big feeling of darkness of, okay, this is the life I'm living in. This is the world, and I've got no control of it. If you got darkness, there has to be lightness.
Yeah.
And light, but there has to be an opposite. I didn't know what that was at the time.
Okay. So what was the next step?
So the next point from that was a couple of years ago. So me and my wife, we got married here at this church, and I hadn't been christened or anything at all. So as part of that, I had to attend church for 6 months. And I was coming, we had to come to one service a month, I think it was. And I was coming to him, and I was like, yeah, going along with it. This is nice. And singing the hymns, and, services were beautiful, lovely. But I just wasn't getting it. I wasn't understanding what they were talking about, why everyone was so happy. I still had a lot of unanswered questions, and got to the point, me and my wife spoke about this, because she, we'll bring my wife on this podcast one day. She was she was brought up Catholic, and she's always sort of believed. But we both did have questions, and we had a deep chat one day, and we talked about how he's feeling. I was like, look, I don't know if I believe the stuff in the Bible. I don't.
Hmm.
I believe there is a higher power. I believe there's a God, but I don't fully believe it's who they're saying it is. And I think God then led me on the journey of revealing himself to me step by step. That initially started with, it was so weird. Me and my wife were on a honeymoon, and every morning she'd wake up and she'd scroll on TikTok. She kept coming across this live, and it was this woman. It's like she'd go on and start a live at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and she'd just be reading bits of like Genesis or something from the Gospel. And I wasn't really, I was scrolling through my phone, but I just catch a glimpse of something in the back. Oh, what's she talking about there? And then so that was the first sort of like, what's going on here? Why do I keep hearing this? These verses out of the Bible. Anyway, I thought nothing of it.
But would you say it was like speaking to you in a certain way? It's like getting your attention, mate.
Yeah, it was getting, you know, my wife's always scrolling through stuff, and yeah, so am I. Yeah. We're both terrible at it. But when you come across that, and then my head turned, and I was like, wow, okay. There was nothing like, again, that'd make me believe, but it was opening my ears, so to speak. Yeah. From then, you know, I won't dive too much into the spiritual experiences because there was a lot of them. I could save that for another episode, but yeah, there was a lot. Yeah, it's gold dust. But there was a lot of things that happened. God incidents, I call them, not coincidences. That eventually brought me to go, right, there's something about this Bible, something about the gospel that is having some sort of effect on my life, and I haven't even read it yet. I was like, I've just got to pick it up, and I've got to find out for myself if this is true or not. So me and my wife stupidly ordered the King James version off Amazon. Go, yeah, that's the one we need. Got it, and it was like reading a foreign language. I was like, how am I going to read this? Stupidly started at page 1 as well, Genesis, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And then all of a sudden, I was lost within about 10 minutes. Going, this is heavy, right? Let's get a different Bible. Start from the Gospels, and I still had the King James, and we was going through like what each word mean. We'd read like a couple of chapters a night in bed, and talk about it. And I was starting to like, okay, I never knew this. And by the time I'd finished John, my life had totally changed. My worldview had totally changed.
Is there anything that stood out, or was it the whole process?
This whole process, there was a couple of bits. It's not even like one of the highlights. It was where Jesus said, I think I spoke about this in the last episode. Jesus talking about criticizing other people and looking down on people, and he said,
"Oh, the plank."
You criticize your brother for the speck in his eye, but you ignore the plank in your own eye. Yeah. You hypocrite, remove the plank from your own eye, and you'll be able to see the speck in your brother's eye. And I don't know what it was about that verse.
It sticks with me though. That one. It
absolutely just. It's like holding a mirror up to myself. I was like, wow, I've been doing that my whole life.
Yeah, it's the truth it reveals about yourself.
Yeah.
Like that book, it's not just about reading that book will read you.
That's exactly what it did.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't like, I didn't feel like I was reading this religious book that was telling me to do this, do that, and you'll get to paradise, so to speak. It was asking questions deep within me and holding the mirror up to myself, and I thought, wow, no human can come up with this. It was too. I just knew. I just knew.
No,
That's all I can say.
yeah.
I can't pinpoint what it is about it. You just got to read it for yourself, and you just know that is God. That's the only way I can explain it. And there was a couple of other bits as well about loving enemies and praying for those that persecute you. And I was like, wow.
That's nothing like anything else.
Yeah, I'd heard love your neighbour before, but I just thought, I probably in my
That's what
head
people-
thought literally love your neighbour, but
Really, I wouldn't
you're
lend
still
them
allowed.
some
It's
milk.
still okay to hate these people and hate these people.
Yeah, it's
you
okay,
know?
but they're not my neighbour over there.
Yeah,
Like, well, yeah. I think it makes you think about who you become enemies with. Because if you
Yeah.
become enemies with someone, you got to love them. That's what Jesus
yeah,
said. And it's like, just the level of wisdom, the teachings, it's like, if we all are looking for world peace, truth, maybe we're all not. I'm talking for just you and I, maybe there, but there's no, not just book, but there's no, the way Jesus and the way he teaches. Like, that's the thing that caught me. I was like, who's this Jesus? Who's Jesus? Right, I was like, who's this guy? The way he talks to people, he walks people into their true identity and truth.
yeah,
That, and he's doing that to you. Whilst you're reading the Bible, you're reading that, you're like, okay, maybe it's time to get the plank out of my own eye.
yeah.
Literally, you're
yeah.
like, how does this know that? You know? And I think there's just there's just such truth there. So
Yeah.
like, you got to that point, okay, so you read the Gospels.
Mm-hmm.
From that point, where did you go from that? Was it like a continuous like church, Bibles, like reading the Bible? Is there anything else? Is there any specific moment, or was it a case of over time?
I will say church helped a lot here.
Yeah.
Once I'd sort of made up in my mind. I mean, don't get me wrong, at the same time I was doing this, I was similar to you, I was doing a lot of fact digging.
Checking it.
I was like, okay, this has totally changed my life and I believe it spoke to my heart, but I need to check it's true.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. We're human. This is what we do. And
I think
after discovering all of that as well.
It's a wise thing
Yeah.
to do to check.
Yeah. Well, especially when I discovered about the Shroud of Turin, that
I found something interesting about that.
that was amazing.
We can talk about that on a
Yeah.
different, but I was listening to something about that. Oh, it's
It is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
you saw the fabricated. There's evidence that something's been fabricated with a corn. You saw it.
Yeah.
We'll leave it for a different.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening about that the other day. I was like, it was blowing my mind. I was
Yeah.
like, it's crazy.
Actually, do you know what? I'll add this in because
Yes.
I've always been training to be a pilot and stuff like that. It's very sciencey and, so I've always needed bits of proof of stuff like that. And when on my journey, at this point, I hadn't looked anything up on YouTube to do with Christian faith or whatever. I just went on YouTube one day and the first video that was on my thing was just this. It said nothing about Jesus. It said nothing about God, nothing like that. It was just this science channel that I followed during like COVID and stuff. And there was this picture of this man on like this cloth with this creepy looking kind of face. No, sorry, God. But it looked a bit scary on the thing. And what on earth is that? And I clicked on it. And it was about an hour long, and by the end of it, I was like, and it just went hand in hand with what I've just read about the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ. It was like, it made perfect sense. That was something physical that really like cemented my belief as well.
Yourself, yeah.
What was you saying? Before we got into Shroud of Turin, I can't remember. So how did church help? So I'd admitted all this to Kevin. I said, like, this is where I'm at. I think after reading that, I think I want to be baptised. I don't know what that means, but I think there's something in me that needs to how do I word this? Needs to cement my decision to choose Christ. I think at that point I'd chosen, but I'd wanted something definite, to tell my family and tell the world as well what the decision I'd made. And so they had this course called a Start course, which is like a Church of England course, and it teaches you the basics. And okay, it was the video content and stuff. It was very it speaks to people that have no understanding of faith at all. But the gems I got was sitting with Kevin and Jane, and asking them all the big questions, all the tricky questions. I'd left each session feeling very satisfied.
Sure.
So then eventually made my decision to get baptised, and we did that, and I haven't looked back since. There's been ups and downs, but
I'd like to finish with this question. We've heard about the transformation process, let's say, the journey you've been on. And I don't mean this in terms of a label or anything, but what does it mean now that you're a Christian? If someone asks you, what does that mean to you? How do you answer?
It means I now know that God is within me. God is living within me. He dwells among us. And that I know where I'm going. There's no, have I done this? Have I done that? With the scales about, no. Jesus met me where I was. And whoever shall believe in him has eternal life. And that is it. And my worldview, the way I treat people, I don't know, I just despite how bad the world is, I love everyone.
Did you before?
No.
I
hated quite a lot of people.
I feel you.
Yeah, this is the reason why we're doing this. Because I love everyone.
Yeah.
I love my family, I love my friends, I love my enemies. And I all want everyone to have what I have, what you have.
Yeah.
God is dwelling within you. And
amen.
Yeah.
Okay, final one then. You mentioned sort of like the time 2020.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone that isn't sure about Jesus or doesn't know, or what would you say to someone like that? Like where the question, they're not quite sure. What would you say? But they are looking for some sort of truth.
Just I know you're skeptical. That's fine. Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt. I think someone's just wandered into the church, so I'm just going to double check. Yeah. Back in 2 seconds.
Go on. We'll be right back.
Hello? Just going for a look around now. Look at the night there. Oh, yeah. We're just recording something in here, so we're just recording the podcast. Feel free to have a look round.
Okay, I'm going to get back to that question.
I knew that was going to happen one of these episodes, so
there we go.
Doesn't matter.
So getting back to what I was saying, that moment, 2020, where your mind was being open, but you wasn't quite sure what direction, like you didn't quite know.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone knowing what you do now?
Do 2 things. read the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Won't take you long. And it's fine to go in skeptical. I'm not asking you to believe. Just read it. You're not going to lose anything by reading it.
And the second?
And the second thing is, if you're open, even if you're agnostic and you say you don't know, just try it. Ask God to reveal himself, and he will.
Yeah. Ask and it will be given.
Absolutely. And doing both of those things will change your life forever. So I'll end it there,
Yeah.
I think.
I like that. I like the ending. So, as always, peace from us too. And if you have any questions, drop a comment and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Peace and love.
Peace and love.